Hi, my name is Jake Shaw, and today we are reviewing Wonder Woman 1984. The following review was filmed in a garage at 1 a.m. while I'm trying not to wake up my family. Wonder Woman 1984 is directed by Patty Jenkins and stars Gal Gadot, Chris Pine, Kristen Wiig, whichever one of the ones it is, and Pedro Pascal. Before I dive deep into the review, I do want to make it clear that I'm going to be a little more vague with this review. Now, having seen the movie, I think the reason the trailers were so repetitive and were so specific to the shots that they chose were to keep certain points of the plot hidden. So I'm going to respect that as best as I can. It is still a non-spoiler review. Gal Gadot returns as Diana Prince, aka Wonder Woman, and she's in the 1980s. She works for the Natural Museum of History. And basically she works behind the scenes of the museum and has worked her way to the top. New girl to the job is Barbara, played by Kristen Wiig. Kristen Wiig is really good in this movie. I was a little worried that they were going to do the Jim Carrey Riddler route with her. She did not. It was a much more toned down version of that. Still vaguely the same idea, but done much, much better than I would say those two were. Pedro Pascal plays Maxwell Lord, a power-hungry individual bent on just trying to achieve as much power in the world as possible. Pedro Pascal is having so much fun in this movie. He's energetic, he's over the top, he's zany at times, but he's all of that in a really believable way. Maxwell Lord, I always knew him growing up as a big Justice League villain, so it's really interesting seeing him be a villain in a Wonder Woman solo movie. This version of Maxwell Lord is basically, he's the living embodiment of the year 2020. It'll make much more sense when you see the movie. Chris Pine returns to play Steve Trevor, and he's a lot of fun in the movie. I would say everyone in this movie is having a lot of fun. Steve Trevor is back due to circumstances I will not explain. It is kind of a reverse role than what he and Diana had in the first movie. Diana was brought to the rest of the world and was kind of the outsider, and she was being shown around by Steve Trevor, and now they've kind of swapped roles. He's the one who's kind of out of time, and she's the one having to catch him up on that. As far as the story goes, like I said earlier, I have to be pretty vague with it. I think the story is okay. I don't think it's superb, but I don't hate it and I don't dislike it. There are things about it where I wish they took time to breathe, let scenes breathe a little more. It gets very chaotic, very fast. Again, that's tied to Mr. 2020 himself. It gets chaotic very fast, but it pays off at the end of the movie very, very nicely. Let's talk about the visuals in the movie real quick. This movie is very 80s, but it's 80s in a way where it's not just throwing a bunch of things at your face. Yes, it does acknowledge a lot of 80s culture, 80s style, just the way the 80s were back then, but it's not throwing a bunch of pop culture references in your face. Like, oh, here's this, oh, remember that? You know, like a lot of movies seem to do. Yes, there are nods to things, but they're not so in your face as other movies would have done 80s time hops in. Overall, I think Wonder Woman is a really joyful and fun movie. It's a breath of fresh air. If you like the movie Shazam, it's a lot like Shazam. Personally, I loved Shazam, so I had a blast with this movie. I don't love it more than I do the first movie, but I would definitely rewatch this movie and be able to have a lot of fun with it. Overall, I give the movie a B-. Guys, thank you so much for watching my review. If you liked it, give it a like, leave a comment, subscribe even. I love all you guys, and Alonzo.